Hello again. Let's talk for a little bit about Chapter 1. So, what is educational technology? We went into this a little bit in our welcome video, just kind of giving you an idea of where we were headed. But now let's talk through Chapter 1. Um, so, ed tech or educational technology, it is sometimes even referred to as instructional technology. And when we look at this, this is the study where we're going to look at how we can utilize technology to inform, to help us in our fields of study, to help our students, to engage our students, to help them understand a concept, all sorts of things like that. We may be looking at things that will change our pedagogy. We may be looking at concepts that are going to change. A lot of times, when we talk about ed tech, we get mixed reviews. Some people are really frightened of technology, especially right now with kind of this surge in artificial intelligence use. You have a lot of teachers that are really concerned about, are my students going to cheat? They're going to use these things to cheat. Um, but also, these things can be great resources. So there's some apprehension, there's some classroom management issues. All these are things that we're going to talk about as we go through this course. But when we think about defining it, and this comes straight out of your book, and this is a definition by Januszewski and Melinda, that it is the study and ethical practice of facilitating learning and improving performance by creating, using, and managing appropriate technological processes and resources. So that's a lot. And I've kind of broken it down to you. It is really the process of enhancing student learning and teacher effectiveness through the use of technology and the management of technology. Okay, so that's that frame that I want you to put around this as we go through things this semester. I talked a little bit in the welcome video about what is ed tech. And I don't want you to get it confused with computer science. I've given you a great chart on page 2 of your book that talks about some of those differences between ed tech and computer science. Um, One of the main ones that you need to focus on is that in ed tech, we're looking at all sorts of technologies, not just a computer, and we're not looking at it from the basis of hardware software issues. We're really looking at how are we going to integrate it and how is that going to help our students. Is it going to help engage them? Is it going to help us deal with the data? Is it going to help them gain a concept? Is it going to give them access to things, right? So a lot of times when we talk about technology, we're talking about access. How can we give students more access? So that's one of the things that I really want you to kind of to focus in on is don't get bogged down in the nuts and bolts of how do I use this particular piece of technology, or how do I use my computer, or how do I fix my computer. Yes, we're going to have to troubleshoot. Yes, we're going to have to help students know and learn how to use their technology. But we're really looking in this course at how can we across the board make education better. Okay. And so a lot of that means that we're going to be basing things in pedagogy. So if this is your first education class or you just haven't heard that word, pedagogy, put very simply, is the art of teaching. It is the things that we do when we teach. And some people are really good at it, and some people maybe are not so good at it. But good teaching practice, good pedagogy is going to be at the heart of everything you do with educational technology. It cannot fix if you are a bad teacher. Ed tech will not make you a good teacher. It can make you a better teacher, but it can't take you from being a bad teacher to a good teacher. What it can do is give you tools to do better. Okay, so this course is built, and the uh, technology standards that are used pretty much across the US at this point and really across the world are from ISTE. You'll hear me say that a lot, is ISTE, and that is ISTE, and that stands for the International Society for Technology and Education. Um, so it is a huge organization. There are local affiliates. Every state in the U.S. has a local affiliate of ISTE, but they give us standards and kind of guiding documentation for how to utilize technology in education. Um, You can find out more about them. Their website is www.iste.org. That's also where you can find all of these standards. I've put them in the course for you, but you can find these. They do make changes to them periodically as things in technology change, right? We know it's an ever changing field. It is definitely not something that is static. It is considered to be a dynamic field. But the standards that we're going to use mainly for this course, we're going to look at the ISTE standards for educators, and there are 7 of those. Um, and those are learner, leader, and analyst. Those 3 go into critical thinking. Designer and facilitator, those 2 go into creativity. Collaborator and citizen. Okay. Collaborator, citizen, and leader also fit in with collaboration. Leader, designer, facilitator, and analyst all fit in with communication. So those are the 4 C's that we look at. So when we think about those 4 C's, everything we're doing in here goes back to those. And 4 C's is kind of a typical thing to use in education. That is not just for educational technology. You have access to those ISTE standards for educators. When you look at those are the things that we expect that educators are doing. And it doesn't matter what you teach or what age you teach. That's what we expect that you are able to do, that you are able to be a learner, you are able to be a leader, a citizen, a collaborator, a designer, a facilitator, and an analyst. Okay, so that's kind of those 7 core things. If you go to that ISTE website, you'll see each standard written out, and then there's substandards underneath it, right? So that's something that we're always kind of striving to be doing and to be reaching, to be meeting those standards. The other set of standards that we're going to use are the ISTE standards for students. And those standards are empowered learner, digital citizen, knowledge constructor, innovative designer, computational thinking, creative communicator, and global collaborator. So if you notice, those 7 standards for students align pretty closely with the standards for educators. And again, those are standards that we want all students to be able to do. Now, what those standards look like, they're going to look very different at the age of 4 than they would at the age of 18. But it's building those skills, building that application. The concept is the same. Doesn't matter if we're teaching math or science or criminal justice or English or reading or social studies or PE, music, art. It doesn't matter. Does not matter. Special education, same deal, right? We're really just trying to get some competencies. That's what these are looking at. When you look at these, I want you to look at them, and then I've given you the 4 C's. So those 4 C's of 21st century skills: critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. Want to make sure that you see those. Those are on page 5 in your book. As you're looking at these standards and as we go through this course, I want you to be always keeping in mind those standards for educators, those standards for students, and the 4 C's that we're working within. Okay. We really try hard to put everything together in this course and to really think about it based on what is it I'm going to teach? Am I going to teach elementary school? Am I going to teach special education? Am I looking to just go teach like corporately? Do I want to be a trainer? It's the same concepts, right? We can apply these pedagogical concepts, these big picture ideas across the board. So that's one of the things that we're going to try really, really hard to do in this course is really put those together. So for right now, I want you to take a look at those ISTE standards for educators, those ISTE standards for students, and the 4 C's, and start thinking in your mind, how do those fit what I'm wanting to do? How do they fit within my span, within my world, within my reality? See you next time.